On this day in history, the 1993 Waco Siege officially ended. This was a 51-day standoff between U.S. federal agents and the religious group called the Branch Davidians at their Mount Carmel compound near Waco, Texas. The siege began on February 28th of that year. It all started when a botched ATF raid to serve search warrants for legal weapons resulted in a gunfire that killed 4 agents and 6 Davidians. After the initial raid failed, the FBI took control of the scene, launching a 51-day negotiation process that aimed to persuade the group's leader to surrender. Ultimately, the standoff ended when a fire destroyed the compound and killed over 70 people. 18 Branch Davidians were tried on murder and conspiracy charges for the February 28th shootout. 11 were acquitted and 7 were found guilty of lesser charges.